Hey everybody, Seven Sins here with a new updated build guide video for the Respec Sorceress for Diablo 4. In this video we'll be going over a lot more than just the build itself. We'll also be going over best ways to level, what skills you should be using along the way, and where to best assign your skill points as we walk the road to unlocking Blizzard and furthering our career, and hopefully becoming full-fledged Respec Sorceress. Later on in the video, I will also show you different variants of the basic build that'll allow for speed farming variants, as well as builds that are primarily designed to take down bosses. Before we begin, there's a couple of things I want to share with you. First of all, the level 100 sorcerers that died in hardcore died to a confirmed bug. The bug was that your cheat death ability, the flame shield that automatically procs when you take fatal damage, does not proc on mounts. Blizzard has since fixed this, however will not reinstate my character, as I fully understand because I knew what I was getting into the moment I clicked yes on hardcore. However, I am a little bit sad that I lost the character after 163 hours, as you can imagine, to a game bug. But due to the success of my videos, I decided that I'd level another one. I took the liberty of doing this one on softcore so that I can use the character in the future for build variations as well as testing and theory crafting and all that good stuff. But I got her to level 100 as well. So thank you for motivating me. I will be going into the first season as a sorceress as well. All right, on to the leveling. I think the most important thing for me to mention here is that I will be doing the campaign skip, and hopefully you will have gotten to the point where you can also skip the campaign. If not, no problem. You can do everything that we're going to do whilst just playing the game as normal. You can follow the instructions for the skill point allocations and such, and obviously my advice on how to level and everything will still be applicable if you are in the campaign, because at the end of the day, the biggest thing the campaign does, especially as a new player, is introduce you to the world of Diablo 4, but it also gives you plenty of experience along the way. For the people, however, who have finished the campaign, click that skip campaign button upon creating your character and start your journey in Kyovashad. For the purposes of making this a fresh experience, however, keeping in mind the people that have not finished the campaign, I started my journey without allocating any of my renowned skill points. That means that the entire journey that I had as a sorceress from 1 to 100 was done without the allocation of the skill points unless I unlocked them as I progressed my character and got my region renowned. I think that it's important to mention that I did not start off with 10 extra skill points and can now just say, hey, oh well, that was easy. There's a little bit of nuance on the Lilith statues. However, as I was not fully progressed on softcore to begin with, those bonuses do boost me a tiny bit, but they shouldn't take anything away from the start or how we go through this leveling process. Because of the power of Sorceress, I recommend, by the way, that you start your leveling endeavor in Tier 2. I will even be doing this in Hardcore. Our damage is so high, especially once we unlock Chain Lightning, not to mention Blizzard itself later, that there's no real reason to be doing any of this on Tier 1. However, enemies have substantially less HP on Tier 1, so it is still something to be considered. At the end of the day, the tier selection is up to you. I personally went with Tier 2, because we have the damage for it. On my Barbarian, however, I wouldn't even step foot outside of Tier 1. Alright, so when you land in Kyovashad, I would recommend that you grab the side quests that you see. You should do this whether you're following the campaign or not. In both situations, most side quests that you do see and can accept will be stuff that you can complete along the way. Whether you're going to follow up on your main quest or you're going to complete a dungeon, most often there will be a side quest in the region that you can quickly finish up and turn in for the renown reward as well as the experience reward. But the renown is the main thing, and seeing as how you need to unlock all your renown anyway, do yourself a favor, grab every side quest along the way anyway. As for the actual leveling process, Diablo 4 can very much be regarded as an open world sandbox game. It is pretty much dealer's choice on where you want to go for your experience. Whether you go out in the overworld and do events here and there, or you're gonna go in and just complete the same dungeon over and over that you feel has good density of monsters and has a good experience to time invested reward. These are kind of up to you. I will give you the way that I went through it, because honestly, at the end of the day, the dungeon farming is the most optimal, but also the most boring way to go about it, but it is really up to you. Regardless, we treat this entire segment as if it is an endeavor that you're undergoing solo, the way that I will be starting Season 1 as well. One thing I do need to mention is that if you finish the campaign, you also have the option of going after Whispers. Whispers are little objectives on the world map that when you complete them, you fill up the Whisper bar, and when you collect a grand total of 10 units, you can turn them into the Tree of Whispers and claim a reward. That also gives you a chunk of EXP, so they are worth doing, especially if you're looking for a little bit of variety. So after you set foot outside of Kova Shadow, wherever you teleported to, but you did those 2 side quests that I pointed out, you'll be a sliver of EXP away from level 2. It is at that point up to you, whatever you kill in order to get your level up and start assigning your first skill point into Frostbolt. Although I do need to mention that it doesn't really matter where you put your initial skill points in the basic skill tree, as we won't be relying on them that much, so it is up to you, whichever you prefer. If you want to go down the Hourclash path in order to have more movement speed along the way, by all means go right for it. The same can be said for Firebolt and Spark as well. The main goal here is to start leveling up and start working your way down to Chain Lightning. As soon as you hit level 4, you'll be able to assign your first skill point into Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning is an extremely powerful skill that, especially in the early game when the enemy HP doesn't scale that high yet, will basically obliterate anything. With the lack of all the legendary aspects and such, especially on a fresh character, Chain Lightning really outshines any other core ability that we have. After we learn Chain Lightning, all of our skills from that point on are pretty much complementary to Chain Lightning itself. That's why the progression, as you can see here right next to me, basically goes to the enhanced and destructive Chain Lightning aspects. But beyond that, it's pretty much Ice Armor with enhanced Ice Armor to get the Mana region to be able to cast more Chain Lightnings. Same could be said for Frost Nova going into enhanced and shimmering. Exactly the same reason. We cast Frost Nova, we gain a bunch of MP, we get more Chain Lightnings along the way. And from that point on, it's pretty much freestyle until level 20. I go for Teleport and Flame Shield. Honestly, if you are playing hardcore level 15, Flame Shield is the best pick, as you can immediately throw that into your enchant. But on that from that point on, basically, I pick Glass Cannon and then just sing it out until I'm level 20. So once I hit level 20, I fully respec for Blizzard. That means we are now literally transforming into the ice shards that autocast when Blizzard freezes our enemies, until the point we find an Ice Spikes aspect, but more on that later. But basically, you follow the same path as shown right besides me. It's a little bit freestyle, so you can decide the order of things that you're going to learn, but obviously the key abilities will be Frostbolt, still with Glinting aspect, Ice Shards with actually the enhancing Greater Ice Shards aspect, Flame Shield, Frost Nova, Ice Armor. Teleport is up to you. I would still recommend it because it's like the most powerful movement ability in this game. And then Glass Cannon for the 18% multiplicative damage, which is rather major, into Blizzard, and then Mage's Blizzard. I was able to get Blizzard at level 15 because I got more skill points through Renown. This is from starting from scratch, by the way, so this is definitely something that you should probably do as well. Go at least grab the earliest skill points in the areas that you are the adequate level for, and get the second one as well. And then the earlier you have these points, the earlier you can transition to a full Blizzard build. Because once you are at level 20, you can actually start working into even more freeze and crowd control. After you fully respec and you've gotten Mage's Blizzard, it's time to get your enchants. I hope you have done the quest already so you're ready to go, because you need the ice shards as an enchant in order to have them auto-fire as soon as you freeze an enemy, which is the whole reason we use Blizzard in the first place, as well as being able to utilize your second enchant slot at that point. It's still up to you what you prefer to use. I'll be playing hardcore, I'll put Flame Shield in there, but for the early levels and everything, honestly, and later as well, I just keep teleport in there. Having a second teleport available, even if it is on a higher cooldown, it's fantastic. But that one's up to you as well. Once you've put your points in Mage's Blizzard, and you'll see here to my left I start off with Icy Veil into Cold Front, these are abilities that give your chill application a slight boost. It's not the biggest boost, however, it's big enough to make your Blizzard freeze enemies in, let's say, I think it's like 4 seconds instead of 6. Now, this may not seem like a lot, but in the heat of combat, it is. It also means that you refreeze enemies faster, making your ice shards fire off earlier as well. Beyond that, I do immediately also chase down Hoarfrost. Hoarfrost is just a huge multiplicative damage on chilled enemies, which basically every enemy we fight is always chilled, thanks to Blizzard, and Frostbolt, obviously. And then Hoarfrost will also deal more damage to frozen enemies. It is also at this point that you become a little bit higher level. Enemies might get a little bit more dangerous. Ice Spec into the Shimmering Flame Shield as well. Sometimes you might just like not have the potion heal you fast enough, at which point it just becomes nice to be able to rely on Flame Shield as well to have you back you up with the heals. From that point on, it's kind of like in the same notion that I also pick Enhanced Teleport and Shimmering Teleport. I feel that these two things go hand in hand. You have the Shimmering Flame Shield, Shimmering Teleport. They both fulfill a defensive role. I choose to pick them up because it's just convenient that way. And eventually you will reach the point where you need more defensive capabilities. So it's smarter to pick them up earlier to get more used to them. So you might as well just pick them up now and get used to them early. Now on to the next part. Once you've got your defensive capabilities, rather than pumping damage into ice shards, Blizzard's damage itself is also not negligible, especially when you apply the, it's kind of hard to see, especially earlier in the game when you're limited to being able to cast 1 or 2 Blizzards here and there. But as you level up, as you gain more ways to regain mana, Blizzard becomes, I don't want to call it a force to be reckoned with, but definitely a huge addition to your damage. Because even before the days of ice spikes, applying multiple blizzards, the chill application increases, but the damage does too. So it is very worthwhile, especially early in the game where we don't have access to additional aspects, because I figure at this point you won't have the ice spikes aspect yet. This is one of the best ways to increase our damage. Beyond that point, we go for Frigid Breeze. Frigid Breeze actually is where we start speccing into Lucky Hit. Lucky Hit is something that not everybody agrees with. If you want to run it, yes or no, I recommend it because of the plentiful ways that it gives us mana back beyond regular aspects, which is why after Frigid Breeze, immediately Precision Magic is maxed for a 50% Lucky Hit, and we also go into Icy Touch. Beyond this point, we're looking to fill up all the gaps and really maximize our damage. So the levels at this point, including all the additional Paragon points you've got along the way, beyond level 40, because most likely you'll have your extra points at this point already, are primarily assigned to getting lower cooldowns for your Teleport and your Frost Nova. At the end game, you're going to be doing a lot of Teleport, Frost Nova. Kill the pack off with Blizzard, Teleport, Frost Nova, kill the pack off with Blizzard. It really depends on how your flow in battle is. But that is one of the most likely outcomes, even without ice spikes. So pushing as many points into those as possible, and especially later on, getting them plus skills on your boots, is really, really useful. And that's it for the skill assignment, from start to finish, all the way up to level 50. That's all the information I have for you up until this point in the first video of what's going to be a bit of a pocket guide series for the Blizzard Sorceress. I initially wanted to do this all in one video, but I have to be honest with you, just creating what I'm showing off here today took me the grand total of 7 days of really hard work. Obviously, I'm new to the editing gig, but all the same, you know, it's not that easy for me to push out these long, in my opinion, high-quality videos yet. So bear with me, as the first season is actually right around the corner. Give me a moment to level yet another character, because I will be racing in the solo self-found category before we dive into everything else surrounding the Sorceress. I do want to apologize because I did promise immediately to release the entire package. However, it's going to have to be cut up into 3 parts. But I'm sure you'll understand, seeing as how much information there is actually to be shared on this. For now, I'm going to have to refer you to my other videos that already exist on the Ice Spikes guide, as well as the Paragon variant of it. And please bear with me as I release the rest of it, and obviously graciously partake in the upcoming season. Consider myself in hermit mode for at least 8 days, and be sure to check the journey live as well. I will be starting as soon as the gong hits, and immediately on the 20th of July start competing in the race to level 100 once again, on hardcore, obviously, as a sorceress. Also, feel free to ask me any questions if you catch me live on Twitch or YouTube as well. I really don't mind answering any questions that you might have, and do find myself a bit slow on answering your questions on YouTube because they came in such great amounts. But if you're really smart, join the Discord, discord.gg/7cents, to immediately get answers most of the time, as there are a lot more knowledgeable people than just me over there. Plus, I wouldn't mind the company helping to theorize and, you know, maybe take this even further. But for now, I'm going to see you in Season 1, and the continuation of this guide will be continued afterwards with fresh information as well. For now, I still hope this guide will be useful to you, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff that I touched upon. But there is so much more I want to share. For now, see you in Season 1.